Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the future. My name is Chris Calabugas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups, the future, not necessarily those, not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you'll be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and please drop a note on Apple Podcasts. I greatly appreciate it. Now, it is Startup Monday once again. And of course, the only thing that's important, the only thing that anyone cares about, the only thing that will make someone subscribe to an email, the only thing that will make someone click on a link, the only thing that will have someone reply to a tweet is if the damn thing's about AI. It's AI everywhere, folks. So what are we going to do? We got to talk about AI, right? We can't talk about anything but AI because nobody else is talking anything about anything but AI. So you're a startup founder, you're a prospective startup founder. Maybe you're toiling away in a major corporation and you're thinking to myself, I really want to get out of here. I want to go build a startup. And with all the kerfuffle around AI nowadays, probably people are thinking, well, what can I do to build a startup? What can I do to build a startup in the AI space? Because, of course, nobody cares about anything but AI. In fact, if it has nothing to do with AI, just get the damn .ai domain, because then people might actually think it might have something to do with AI and maybe give you some money. But I digress. So here's the thing I've been talking about for a long time on the AI front, is that for the longest time, we have been dependent on AIs from other companies, or virtual assistants from other companies. We've been dependent on Amazon. We've been dependent on Google. We've been dependent on Apple. We've been dependent on these big companies running all this AI and listening to our every word, or reading our every email, or checking our every web page. So they know every single thing about us, and they're taking these things and they're feeding them in to a giant data lake, and then they've got their AIs sitting on top of the giant data lake, reading all about us, understanding us deeply, and then taking that information and creating tasks, doing things to improve our life. No, I'm kidding. That's not what they're doing at all. They are simply using it to push ads in front of us, make us more dependent, crank up our dopamine levels so that we won't want to ever put our phones down again. So what's wrong with this picture? We have all of this data about ourselves. These companies have amassed so much data, and they're using these ultra powerful AI engines to manage the data and use them to make money off of us. Now, wouldn't it be great if somebody did that exact same thing, was able to tap that data and use massive AI, and instead of using it to try and get us to look at phones more or spend more money with them, use it to improve our lives, to make our lives better? And this is something I've been saying for the longest time, is that we need to wrest AI from the control of these giant tech companies and make it personal. Even something like ChatGPT. ChatGPT, if you've ever played with it and gone off the reservation, gone off the rails a bit, off the edge of things a little bit, it still comes to you and says, oh, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. If that's not being inclusive. It's not fully free. But what if you wanted to talk about something that wasn't in that narrow bunch of cultural things that you wanted to talk about? What if you wanted to talk about different things? Can't do it. So on comes AutoGPT. And some people might say, well, what's AutoGPT? I've heard of AutoGPT. It's the most amazing thing. It can do absolutely anything you want. And I'm like, let me give you the simple explanation on AutoGPT. AutoGPT is simply an engine which sits on top of ChatGPT. And it allows it to interact with ChatGPT and use the output of ChatGPT to create more tasks for itself. So it's recursive. So you can give it a high-level task, and then it will go ask ChatGPT, hey, here's my high-level task. Break this down into smaller tasks. And then what it does is it takes those smaller tasks and runs those tasks. So it's like an automator for ChatGPT. Because if you think about ChatGPT, the way it works now is you sit down and you ask it things and it tells you things. You ask it things and it tells you things. You ask it things and it tells you things. Well, and somebody thought, well, why not just put a layer on top of that so you can ask for it to do stuff and it will do stuff. It will continuously ask ChatGPT things and expand about that list of things that need to be asked until it's got a massive list of things to be asked. And I haven't been able to figure this out, but some people out there have been able to figure it out, is to actually get it to do something. So if you went in there and said, hey, I want to create a business which does XYZ and makes XYZ. And then if it actually had hooks into being able to build a website or build a Twitter following or build or connect to Twitter or any of these other external things, because right now it seems to just be prescriptive. It'll tell you. So if you said to yourself, let's say I want to set up a passive income side business that makes at least $10,000 a month. So you can go in there and you can ask it. In fact, there's a couple ways you can do this. There's a simple way, which is where you go to a website called AutoGPT, just Google it, and they have an interface to it. And you say, I want to make a simple business, passive income business that makes $10K a month. And that's a simple way of doing it. You'll see how it operates. You go in there, you enter it, and it'll create prompts, and it'll create more prompts, and it'll run the prompts, and blah, 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 and you'll see it happening. And right now it's just sort of creating a document of what it's doing so that you can go off and do it yourself. It won't actually go out and do it. It'll say things like, let's say you wanted to do a website based on medical information. It'll say, I will go out and research medical literature. I'll connect with medical professionals. It's not actually doing it. It's telling you to do it, right? It's being prescriptive. It's telling you, here's a list of things that you need to do to build a passive income side business that makes you at least $10,000 a month, or at least in its mind, in its estimation. And you can also do it another way, but if you're more technical, you can actually install AutoGPT on your machine. So it runs under Windows. You have to have Git and all sorts of other technical backgrounds. So if you have a tech background, if you've done software development before, you can very easily build your own AutoGPT locally on your machine and use it, leveraging ChatGPT and any other engines out there, to do stuff for you. So what this is, and here I am again referring to something I've talked about for a long time, is it the beginning genesis of my personal AI. Because as I said before, all the AIs we've been working with, all the assistants we've been working with do not work for us. They work for other companies. They work for other companies, and what they're trying to do is not improve our lives. They're trying to make more money for those companies. But we are finally seeing in AutoGPT the beginning edge, the leading edge of a truly a bot that's truly dedicated to us human beings. So if you ask me, if this is Startup Monday and you're thinking about startups and you're thinking about something in the AI space and you're thinking about something that's super hot, create a business that allows someone with no experience whatsoever to go to a web page, register, and create a personal bot that works on their behalf against all these other companies, or for them, not in against, but in negotiating with all these other companies as their personal assistant, an AI-based personal assistant that is owned, run, and managed by the user. Now, AutoGPT is somewhere along those lines, but it still doesn't, there's still things missing because it just keeps going on and on and on. Even when it gets into endless loops, it'll just keep going on and on. And it doesn't ask you additional questions. It should ask you more information. There's so much more that can be done there, but it is at the very, very beginning. So if you're an aspiring startup founder, if you've got some technical knowledge, take AutoGPT and build on that. Use it to create bots for us, bots for the people, because that's what we need now. We need bots for the people. We need to disengage ourselves from bots that run for others, and we have to start building bots for the people. Because if we don't build bots for the people, then we're all going to be stuck running other people's bots, and other people's bots are not going to be helping us. They'll just be helping their owners. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.